Hi everybody, I'm Leah of seejanedrill, and today we're welding. And if you're saying to yourself, Leah, wait a second, I don't have any welding equipment. Well, you're not going to need it. Today we're going to weld aluminum, and I'm going to show you the process. I got to tell you, it's simple as can be. It's something you can do yourself at home, and I'm going to show you right now. Let's get started. Okay, so let me show you what you're going to need. These are just blocking needle nose pliers. I like using these. I'm going to show you how they're handy. This is a brass brush. You'll need it to clean the oxidation off of the aluminum before you start to weld. If you use a brass brush, make certain that it's new and you haven't used it for anything else. Once you use it for aluminum, kind of want to stick with that. If you don't have a brass brush, look, let me tell you something. A piece of sandpaper will work wonders. It'll work just as well. Don't forget to use safety glasses, and it's always recommended to use leather gloves. Now this here, these are our brazing rods, and I'm going to put a link in the description below so that you can find them easily and check them out on your own. The next thing and the last thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a heat source. Now I'm using MAP gas because I like the way it heats up a lot quicker. It burns a lot hotter, or it doesn't burn a lot hotter, but it burns hotter than propane. Propane is fine for use with these brazing rods, so don't worry about it if you don't have a MAP gas torch. Okay, so this is the aluminum that we're going to weld together, but before we do that, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to clean the oxidation off the surface and along the edge as well. And the way you do that is with a brass brush. Now, like I said, if you don't have one of these, don't worry, a piece of sandpaper will do just as well. So just clean the surface off, get that oxidation off, be thorough about it, okay? Don't cheat here. You don't want to cheat with this because you want to get a good weld, all right? Get the sides as well. Now, if you don't have that brass brush I was telling you about, piece of sandpaper is fine. You just use it like this and just be thorough. Don't worry about if it's working. Trust me, sandpaper is going to work fine. Okay, my aluminum is clean. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the two pieces together like this. This is how I want to make my weld. And I'm going to set it up in a vise. Okay, now what I've got here is I've got my piece in the vise, okay? Now what you see right here, that's ceramic tile. And the reason I have ceramic tile between my project, my aluminum project here, and the vise is because it's going to create a heat barrier. I want to concentrate my heat right there, right in that angle there. And if I didn't have the ceramic tile, there would be heat transference. And so the heat that I place on my aluminum would spread to the vise, and I wouldn't get the concentration of heat that I need from the torch. So that's why I have ceramic tile. Okay, so I'm just going to clean it once more, just to make certain that I've gotten it really good. Now it's time to weld. Now what I'm holding here is one of those aluminum brazing rods. Down here are the needle nose pliers. Now I use the needle nose pliers to hold the brazing rod because it really gives me the control I need and allows me not to hold the rod in my hand. So what I do is I clamp my needle nose pliers to the brazing rod. But I give myself a nice workable amount, okay, of rod material. Now, what I want to say is this. I'm going to start heating up the aluminum with the torch, but I want to show you something that I'm going to do in the process, and I want to explain to you now why I'm doing it. So this is what you're going to notice. I'm going to start heating up my aluminum, okay, with the torch. But then I'm going to pull the torch away, and I'm going to take this brazing rod, and you're going to see me do like this. Once this aluminum reaches the proper temperature, it's going to be 730 degrees and 390 degrees Celsius. It's going to start melting this rod very quickly. Because you don't heat the rod. We're not going to heat the rod with the torch. You heat the aluminum. Okay? And at one point, when I make this move, you'll suddenly see it start to puddle. Now we're going to start heating up the aluminum, and I'm going to just run it back and forth, try to be as consistent as possible. You keep that aluminum up. Remember what I said, 730 degrees Fahrenheit, 390 degrees Celsius. It's getting hot. I can tell we're close. Okay. Here we go, folks. I think it's ready. Here we go. There we go. Look at that bead. Look at it. I'm going to go slowly here. Look at that. Perfect. Now, I got to tell you, this project, the aluminum itself is very hot. It's still probably at 730 degrees, right? So you don't want to touch it. Even though I've got gloves, I'm going to still let it cool off a little bit. Now, I will say that the joint is done. That's it. It's hard. It's not going to take much to set that joint. Don't even think about submerging it in cold water, because if you do it that way to speed up the process, to cool off the aluminum quickly so you can handle it, you're going to weaken that joint. So resist doing that. In fact, don't do it. What I want to do is I want to bring it in close so you can see that weld. It is perfect. And that's what I love about aluminum welding. That's all there is to it. Now, I got to ask you, did you ever think that welding aluminum could be so easy? Well, it is just that easy. Now, listen, if you've got repairs at home, you've got something that's aluminum, it's cracked, it's punctured, you got a hole in it, and it needs to be fixed, well, this is the stuff to use. But beyond that, the really cool thing is you can create with this. You can build things out of aluminum. Maybe there's a coffee table or an end table you'd like to make, and you want the frame to be aluminum. Well, you can construct it with this product and maybe put a glass top on it. You're only limited by your own imagination. This is Leah saying you can do this. See you next time.